Morning, so we're back and today we're going to the British Bird of Prey Centre in Carmarthen. We've got a Bird of Prey experience booked and honestly that is all I know at the moment. When we booked this at the end of January, Krys booked it and basically told me that she wasn't going to tell me what she'd booked and I was just going to find out on the day because whatever it is that she's found, she thinks that I'll find it quite cool. She's also told me as well not to get my hopes up too much, like it's nothing massive, but I like a surprise and we're going to find out together what she's booked. I'll let you know about price and all of that stuff. In fact, I know how much we paid for it, but I'll tell you about that a little bit later on. The clue to the price is we've managed to spread the cost. I don't think we would have been able to have paid for this outright, so thank God for ClearPay, that's all I can say. Anyway, we're running a little bit late now. It's typical us running late, but yeah. Let's go and see some birds. So before we get to where we're going, I thought I'd tell you a little bit more about the organisation, along with more details about the experience that we booked. The British Bird of Prey Centre is in Carmarthenshire in southwest Wales, and for quite some time it went by the name of Pembrokeshire Falconry, but eventually they rebranded to the British Bird of Prey Centre, and after a number of years of being in another location, which was just up the road, they moved sites in October 2025 and began constructing what we see today. The experience that we paid for was the half-day experience, but there are other experiences available on their website at different prices. Now, you can buy a few add-ons to add to your experience as well, one of which was that something that Krys bought for me as a surprise that I mentioned earlier on, but more on that a little bit later. According to their website, the half-day experience included general admission, 2.5 hours worth of flying 4 different birds, as well as access to the different flying displays that you get to watch with the other guests during the day. Now, each display tends to be a little bit different because the centre gives all the birds there a chance to fly throughout each day. Having said that, this might be subject to change because of course these birds are live animals, so what they do and how they behave throughout the day might have an impact on any experience that you might be part of or you might have purchased. And as you'll see later, some things happened in our VIP experience that slightly changed our experience, but for now it's time to head in and see what's what. So, we've just gotten here. You might not be able to see my face because of the sun. Maybe if I turn this way and walk backwards. No, because then I'll fall over, won't I? We've just got on here, and it took us about an hour to get here. And it's in the middle of nowhere, which is really good because I don't really like people. So, yeah, let's have a look on the... if I spin you around. This is an idea of the price, just general admission, just there. And... nice picture of an owl there. Now, first things first, I am not an animal expert at all, but I do like wildlife and learning about things. So if you're expecting some kind of amazing wildlife documentary on this video today, you're not going to get that. Like I said earlier on, I don't actually know what we're doing yet, so yeah, let's see what happens.
Thank you very much. We have a show on, there's a show on just now, started about 15 minutes ago. Okay. It'll be out that door, turn left straight down to the bottom. Right. There's one after that at 1 o'clock, and then we've got a 3 o'clock show as well.
Right, we've booked a...
Have you got a group experience booked?
That's a good question, actually, no. Tell us what we booked.
Oh, you got half day?
Yes.
Sorry.
No, sorry, no.
I didn't see that. Sorry, my bad. I'm not sure who's going to be doing it for you today. I think it might be Aina doing the half day. She's at the show at the moment. If you want to have a look around the site for me. If you pop back in here for me around 12 o'clock or just before, and then I'll let you meet Aina, or I think it might be Aina or Tim, one of the two.
Right,
lovely.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
Like I said earlier on, this place is in the middle of nowhere, but it's just stunning. Probably a good thing that the sun's out, to be fair. I couldn't imagine doing this in the rain, but oh, it's just lovely. We haven't seen any birds yet, but yeah, it's definitely a nice day for it. So we are heading down to a show at the moment that's currently on, so I don't want to talk to the camera too much and disturb what this person is telling all of these other people.
But despite their caring and nurturing nature, they are considered one of the most aggressive owl species out there. There's been quite a few documents of these guys rear end of a polar bear and just ripping fur out of the back. And that usually is enough to let the polar bear know, I don't want to be having you for food because you're too much hassle. And they will quite often move on and go somewhere else. Snowy owls have been known to move home. Once their owlets get to a certain size and can waddle across the Arctic tundra, they will move closer to the food source to let them all have the best chances of survival.
So when you come in here, it almost looks a little bit unfinished in parts. You've got the field, which looks to be the show area, and you've also got this bit as well, which it looks a little bit incomplete, if I can use that word.
How old is he?
He's 2.
Oh. Oh, he's lovely, isn't he?
Alright, calm down. So, we've been here for about 45 minutes or something. We're just spending time with the peregrine falcon at the moment. Before we left, obviously I told you about the fact that Krys had booked this whole thing, and I don't know what she'd booked. Well, now I know, and I'm going to walk over there in a minute. I'm going to show you what we've paid to hold, and I can't wait. I'm so excited for it. Genuinely, really excited for it. And here is the surprise. Now, I couldn't shout from the rooftops about how excited I was at this moment in time, simply because all around me was so quiet and I'd have probably made a fool of myself. I also didn't want to irritate any other visitors throughout the day by talking to my camera, which is why I'm speaking so quietly from time to time throughout this video, so please bear with me with that. But we paid extra to hold Midas, the golden eagle. I've always loved eagles. They've always been really impressive animals to me. You'll get to see that encounter a little bit later on if you stick around, and if you do stick around and if you want to see more from me in the random adventures that I've got planned, please do consider subscribing if you want to. Getting back to today though, no matter how excited I was at being able to hold Midas, it has to be said, I was also a little bit nervous. I think he knows that we're going to be holding him a little bit later, and I'm so excited. A little bit intimidating, to be fair, because I've never done anything like this before, but I love eagles and birds of prey and stuff, which is one of the reasons that we're here, because I've wanted to do something like this for quite a long time. But yeah, Krys always pulls it out the bag when she comes to surprising me, honestly. And after a bit more of a look around, it was time for our experience to start. Now, the half-day experience, like I said, is a private experience which takes place in a field which is separate to everything else. This was our guide. Now, you might have already seen her on this video once before during the first show of the day. Her name was Ina, and honestly, she knew so much. She was so knowledgeable, to the point where she could have told me absolutely anything, and I think I'd have believed her. Just a small disclaimer, she did agree to being on camera, and she was more than happy with me filming, so you might see and hear a little bit more of her throughout this video. Now, as the name of the organisation might suggest, most of the birds here are British. Now, I say most because, well, I'll just let Ina explain.
So why are these ones like you said they're like the private ones, are they?
Yes.
Is there any reason, or just...
Because they're not native, most of them.
Oh, right, okay.
So Alex and Emma started with Pembrokeshire falconry, so they had non-native species.
Right, okay.
They then moved into the owl garden, so we ended up getting non-native owls, which is Dory and Aussie. And then we moved into the British Bird of Prey Centre, and obviously we couldn't just get rid of our guys because we love them, they know us, and we can still give them a relatively good life, so they can still fly, they still get loads of physical exercise and mental stimulation and stuff.
Yeah.
But essentially, they will pass away at their right age, and then we just won't get the same species again and replace it with a British bird.
Yeah. Now, up until this point, I had no idea that they had non-native birds here, and honestly, I didn't mind that we were up close with a bird that was native to another country. This is Bruce, the kookaburra, native to Australia, and I've never been this close to a kookaburra before, so I was more than happy to get to know Bruce for just a little bit. And during our time with Bruce, we started to realise that he didn't like Krys's hair. He'd fly to me time and time again and happily sit on my glove, no problem at all, but no matter what Ina tried, he just wouldn't land on Krys for some reason, and after a bit, Krys started joking around about the fact that it was probably because of her hair, but it turns out she was right, so it was over to quick-thinking Ina to come up with a solution.
No, you want to lift up your glove? I'm just going to do a quick test and see.
I'm stand out of the way.
Bruce, come on! If he lands on this glove, it will be confirmed. It's not me at my job, it's you. Okay?
It's your fault, yeah.
I'm good at my job.
Do you just want to go and wait in the car?
Bruce, come on! Yeah, well, if you're slipping, it's probably because you're not meant to be there. Bruce! It might just be Bruce, to be honest. I don't know, it might not be your hair or anything, it might just be Bruce. I'm starting to think that maybe it's just Bruce.
I think it might be Bruce.
Right, before we waste too much time on Bruce, we're going to swap him out. Oh. No, it's your hair.
It's me. Oh my god.
That's so funny.
Do you mind wearing my manager's cap? Is that okay? Sorry.
I feel a bit discriminated against, but it's fine.
That's the best I can do.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, Bruce.
Poor Bruce.
You're not doing your species any help.
Is that a bit better, Bruce? Is that less offensive?
Oh, wow. Wow.
I hope you got all of that on camera.
I did. I definitely did. So hopefully, after seeing a little bit of Bruce the red hair hater basically avoiding Krys at all costs, you may have a little bit more of an idea of how these birds will behave however they want to behave. A little bit later on, you'll see another example of this, courtesy of Boomerang the Kestrel. Before that though, as we spent a little bit more time than planned with Bruce trying to work out why he hated Krys so much, we ran out of time, and it was soon time to go and watch the second flying display of the day. Now before that display, we went into the cafe that's on site to get a few drinks. Here's a shot of the menu that they had on the day, and I've got to be honest, we were quite shocked with having to pay £7 for 2 bottles of Oasis. I suppose we did need it because the sun was out and it was a nice day and we wanted to stay hydrated and all of that, but still, £3.50 each. It was a little bit expensive for Oasis, but on we went with our day, starting with show number 2.
They're not able to pick up that light coloration of white, so therefore she's basically invisible to her prey. So she gets those 2 lots of camouflaging, and that's because of this active hunting behaviour. You see if you can hear her fly. Stunning. That beautiful pounce just there is what I was looking for. We're not very inventive with our owl names, so if you don't know the species of an owl, take a wild stab in the dark at what they look like or where they live, and you're probably in the ballpark of somewhere around their name. Then have things like your little owl because they're tiny, you have your snowy owl because they're white, and so the point goes on. And we now have our barn owls. We gave these guys not only the protection from the elements of the weather, they are going around cleaning up the roadside, taking all of that dead roadkill, making sure the diseases aren't being spread amongst our other animals. Now the reason that they were seen as pests is because they're quite happy to see us lot, the human population, as a food source. Which meant that they would come down into our towns and our cities and they would sneak the food out of kids' mouths and leave them with a huge mark on their face. So we were encouraged to go out and kill our kites. The other day I was doing an indoor owl taster with Rusty and he quite literally took the hat off of my head and then flew away with it. Luckily it was too heavy for him to fly anywhere far, so he ended up on the floor because it was too heavy. And I managed to get my hat and the owl back, which is good. Now those ear tufts that Rusty's got aren't actually his ears, they are called plumicorns. And what they are mood indicators, and they're a good way to break up his facial silhouette when he's sat in a tree waiting for some food to come by. Now whilst these guys are roosting in the trees, they're able to use those ear tufts to chat to each other. They can let each other know if there's danger coming, whether they're hungry, upset, unsure, and it all depends on where those ears are placed on his head.
Now, I could have put music over the top of what you've just seen, but I wanted to try and show you how knowledgeable Ina was throughout the day. She was such an expert, and you could just tell how much she loved her job. And to be honest, between looking after us in our half-day experience and talking on these shows, I'm surprised she had any voice left at all at the end of the day. Before we got back to our experience, it was time to get to know Midas, the golden eagle, just a little bit better before eventually meeting him face-to-face later on. And this is another example of how these animals can make their own rules, because after a little bit of time flying over us all, Midas decided to go on an adventure into a neighbouring field. Now, I'm not sure whether he knew this or not, but the tree that he landed in was home to a family of buzzards, and pretty quickly the buzzards started to gather and were basically having a go at him for being in their tree. And honestly, in that moment, it seemed as though we'd gone from being at a bird of prey experience to being part of some kind of wildlife documentary. It was mad. He came back eventually, but seeing this happening with my own eyes was really cool, even if it wasn't supposed to have happened. And after watching Midas wind up the locals, it was then time for the next part of our experience. So off we went to the private field to meet our next bird. This is Boomerang the kestrel, and like many of the birds here, Boomerang's name is specific to something. For example, there was Ozzy, named after Ozzy Osbourne, Enzo the peregrine falcon, named after Enzo Ferrari, because these birds are the fastest in the world. But Boomerang was named Boomerang because he always came back. Only this time, after seeing him for just a little bit, he didn't come back. Not for a while anyway. Now, he did have a telemetry tracker on his back, so nobody seemed too stressed out that he'd gone off for a while. But we stood around for quite a bit of time trying to look for him, and when we eventually found him, we noticed that he'd managed to catch something in the bushes. It looked like a mouse, and although it was fascinating to see all of this happening from a distance, Ina pretty much told us at that point that this was going to be the end of meeting Boomerang. She explained that if we were to go and approach him directly and retrieve him, he'd just take off and land somewhere else, so we essentially had to wait for him to finish his food before he came back. And what you're seeing here is only a small portion of what had happened. The reality is that we were stood in this field for around about half an hour or so, watching him hunt and eat from a distance. And he did come back after a little bit, but by that point, we'd run out of time with him. With all of that being said, though, when he was around us, he was so interesting to watch up close. He just wasn't around us for very long. Now, at this point, it's probably worth mentioning that you've got to be patient when you take part in an experience like this. Our experience might be different to yours if you decide to do it. For example, Midas might not take off and land somewhere he shouldn't be, and Boomerang might not go and hunt the local mice, but it's important to say that all of these things could happen on any of these experiences anywhere you do them, so just bear that in mind. As the day rolled on, though, it was time to meet our next bird. This is Dory, and Dory is a great grey owl, and just like Bruce, Dory wasn't native to the UK, but it didn't really matter to us. We were just amazed with everything that we were seeing up until this point. Close up, she was stunning, and the good news for us, as well as the buzzards and the mice in the area, is that she was more than happy to fly between me and Krys over and over again. However, with live animals being live animals, there were still some times where she'd just sit wherever she wanted to before coming to land on us, as you're about to see, whilst I'm busy explaining to Ina why this YouTube channel is called Shane Not Sean. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe.
Come on, Dory. I was about to call her Shane then. I was like, come on, Shane. God's sake.
Sean usually gets, doesn't he?
Oh, I get Sean all the time, yeah.
One more time, remind me, because I've said Shane so many times
Shane.
now. It is Shane.
It is definitely Shane, yeah.
God's sake.
And that's why the YouTube channel is genuinely called Shane Not Sean. Seriously. Seriously. And that wasn't a cheap plug, by the way.
No, that's fine.
For years and years, people have just called me Sean. People start off by like, oh, hi Shane, how you doing? Like on emails and stuff at work.
Yeah.
Hi Shane, how you doing? And then they go, hi Sean. Or thanks Sean at the end.
How did that change?
Honestly. And
Just check the email.
I've joked for ages that, you know, whether something happens with this YouTube channel or whatever it is that I do, I'm going to make money one day out of the fact that people keep calling me Sean. Now, hopefully you've subscribed after that explanation, but if you haven't, let's just forget I ever suggested it and carry on looking at some more birds, shall we? Like I said, Dory was stunning up close, and I don't exactly know how much she weighed, but it was a lot lighter than what I was expecting. What we didn't know at the time was that Ina was building us up to holding Midas at the end of the day, which is why we started with the smaller birds and worked our way up to the more bigger birds. Now, the next bird was supposed to be Echo the Raven, and I didn't get any of this on camera, but he was having none of it. Ina tried all all she could to put a telemetry tracker on his foot, but let's just say he wasn't in the best of moods. For the safety of the animals and the staff and the guests, the British Bird of Prey Centre can change the schedule of the day at any time, and that means that sometimes things don't go as originally planned. And whilst we didn't get to meet Echo face to face, I've got to be honest, I didn't really fancy being pecked by a raven, so I didn't mind all too much. But what we did instead was meet another non-native bird that I'd never heard of before. This is Kermit, and he's a tawny frogmouth. Now, as you can see, we're actually standing in his enclosure, and even though he wasn't as moody as Echo, he just didn't want to be held, so we didn't actually spend that much time with him. And that pretty much brought us to the end of our half-day experience. All that was left to do now is watch the final flying display of the day, and then hold Midas.
So we're almost finished our day here at the British Bird of Prey Centre, and as you can see, we're in like the kind of courtyard, like main bit where all the birds are kept. And yeah, there's no one here. It's near to the end of the day now. Midas is just behind us, and after this next show, we're going to be holding him. I'm a bit intimidated, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
Now, if you were here for this morning's show, that we would have spoken about the term common kestrel and common buzzard and how it derives from the common man's title. Now, the common kestrel gets the same name because this is what you would have rewarded your son to be able to practice the fundamentals of falconry before they were old enough to be able to have something like a buzzard. And that's a very brief hover from Aura there. Now, you quite often see kestrels alongside motorways, dual carriageways and coastal paths. And if you see a hovering kestrel, it means that they've picked something that they want to go and pursue, and then you'll see them stoop down to go and catch their prey. Now, unfortunately for kestrels, they don't often get past their first year, and this is predominantly due to their size. Beautiful hovering there. Well done, Aura. Now, quite often, if you're hearing that twit-through call, you're listening to two birds chat to each other. You quite often have the female calling out to the male and vice versa, especially through the spring seasons of mating. Now, the reason that these guys are called a tawny owl is because of their tawny colour. So he was being bullied by all the blackbirds, all the pigeons, and then eventually a peregrine falcon moved in, and Hector point blank refused to leave his aviary, which meant that he wasn't getting any exercise. And now, being a huge owl in the UK, he would be considered an apex predator. Stay hidden from all of the other birds that might warn the other birds, the other creatures in the woodlands that he's coming.
Can I hit this? Can you step up for me? Oh, it's a tough life
No.
I'm moving away from tethering essentially in our centre because Emma joined Alex and she didn't like the tethering.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
In the next 5 years, we're moving away from tethering in general because some of it is great and some of it is for all the birds and some of it isn't. Nice, a strong arm. All right, Midas. Step up for me. This is my second hold of Midas, so I'm still learning. Midas is still learning.
My God, he is heavy.
Is he ever? Yeah.
He is a stunning boy.
Wow.
Now it's this talon here that can exert the most power, and that's his ratchet talon. That's what's going to lock into his prey. What I do know is his peripheral vision is nowhere near as good as ours because he's got a magnification eye.
Oh,
So if you were to look through binoculars all your life, you can't look left and right very far, but you can see 3 miles ahead of you.
Oh, okay.
So with Midas's eye power, he would be able to pick his prey from about 5 or 6 miles away.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah, I was going to give it
If you want to put your hand underneath the other one, like that, that's it. Give yourself some extra support.
Yeah.
Need to have that.
No, it's all good. He's going to be in the thumbnail. He doesn't know it yet, but he is. Well, we think he is anyway.
Does not want to be. Does not give permission.
Alright, Midas, I'm getting there. He's now just annoyed at me because I was taking too long.
Oh, he is heavy, isn't he? Wow.
It's a good one, isn't it?
Oh my God. One of his talons, it doesn't matter, but one of his talons are in my arm. Doesn't matter, it doesn't hurt. There we go. Oh, that's much better. Thank you for that. It's really intimidating, like looking straight into his eyes, isn't it? It's like, oh my god. Wow.
Yeah, and that's built up with time. So essentially, doing that to Midas would you're challenging him. Essentially.
Oh well, I won't do that again then.
So now it's not a problem because he's imprinted and he's worked with Alex and everything. He's now used to people staring and looking at him. Whereas beforehand, that would have been hang on a minute, you're because he sees us as predators. You know, we could quite easily hurt him.
Wow. So that was Ina, and she's been amazing all day. Genuinely, I'm not just saying this. She's been amazing all day.
Come to the British Bird of Prey.
Yes, yes. Please do. It's been a really good day. He's getting close, isn't he?
He's like leaning into you, isn't he?
Yeah.
If you lift this side of your arm up, and he'll start to lean the other way.
Ah, there we go. Right, okay.
Did you have anything?
Oh, look.
No, there's one.
And then there was one, and it was just us. Let me just spin you around and try and maybe finish the end of this video, to be fair, here. That was amazing. Genuinely such a good day. You feel like you've just worked there for a day, and, you know, everyone's your friend, and everyone treats you as if you are part of their little family. Let me stop rambling a minute and get the keys so we can get in the car. Oh dear, right. Let me close the door. Oh, God. These are some very questionable camera angles, these are today. Yeah, what a day. Look at my hair, it's all over the place. Oh my God, I bet you I've looked like that all the video as well. You're not here for my looks though, are you? You're here to know how much this experience cost us, and altogether, it cost £230. What I will say with that is that you are able to spread the cost. We use ClearPay, and we wouldn't have been able to have afforded, basically, to have done that by paying it outright. So being able to spread the cost was just amazing. The shows, like the flying shows that you would have seen, depending on how I've edited this video, were really good. Everything was really informative. You do get an impression at the moment, and I'm filming this in March 2026, you do get the impression that it's unfinished, and we were talking to some of the staff as well about that, and they basically said that, yeah, it isn't finished. That's why it looks the way that it looks at the minute. There's plans apparently for a beer garden in the future. There's a few other bits and pieces as well, which, to be fair, there's been a lot of information that I've taken in today about birds and about different things that I wouldn't want to say anything now and be wrong or anything, but I've definitely heard that there's going to be a beer garden there. I think there was going to be an Airbnb as well. That was the plan, like in the future. I just don't know how long it's going to take them. But Ina, our guide for the day, was amazing, really informative. And she had answers to everything, and it was really just nice. Like I said, you felt like you were just part of a family there, and you really did get your money's worth. I mean, we got here at just gone 11 o'clock, and it's now, what time is it? 10 past 4 now, so it's kind of an all-day experience. I mean, I think it's only open until 4 o'clock anyway, but it was just... You felt looked after, basically. So you might think that £230 is a lot of money, but again, when you can spread it over X amount of weeks like we did, it doesn't feel as bad. We paid it off like last week or something, but yeah, we're gonna go home now, and I've just got no words for what we've just experienced. Thanks for watching. If you've gotten this far, if you want to subscribe and all of that wonderful stuff, that would be amazing. And yeah, I'll see you next time.